and I'm so glad that you're here because we're going to be talking about books for beginners. When you are starting your spiritual journey, there's a lot of information out there, and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. It can be hard to sift through, and sometimes, you kind of buy books that don't end up resonating with you, which is okay. But I'm trying to give you the best of the books that I feel help me with beginning my journey so that you don't have to go and buy books that you're not necessarily ever going to use or don't resonate with you. And I hope that you find these helpful. So my recommendations are books that I have found either just through my own trial and error or recommendations from other people. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is a book that I'm pretty sure most people are aware of, but it's Witchery by Juliet Diaz. So this is a tiny little book, but it has quite a bit of information in here. In the table of contents, it talks about like herbs and protection magic, root work, meditation, grounding, the moon cycles, the season of the witch. There's rituals, there's some spells in here. And full disclaimer, if you're going to use inspiration for a spell from a book, make sure that you modify it for your practice. Don't copy it exactly how it is in a book because it's not your own. Also because many people are reading the same exact thing you are. So you don't want people to know the ins and outs of your spells. You want them to be personal. So just keep that in mind. But I think this is a great little read to get started, to give you kind of like a graze of information on a bunch of different topics. And it's pretty inexpensive. And you can find this pretty much anywhere. The next book that I would recommend is a crystal book. It's called The Crystal Witch. The authors are Sean Robbins and Leanna Greenaway. Hopefully I said that right. So I was introduced to this book by someone else who had this book, and the amount of information that's in here is like beyond just crystals. So they talk about your altar, candles, the elements. They talk about symbolism. You have all of the correspondence for different colors for color magic in here. The moon cycles are in here. There's spells at the back of the book. I mean, there's just like so much information in here. But they also go in and show you crystals and give you like what they're used for, what the properties are. And there's literally a like index in the back of the book where you can look up a crystal and then it will give you multiple different uses for it, spells that you could use that crystal with, all kinds of things. And then they also do the zodiac signs on the back of the book. They also give you corresponding crystals that go with that particular zodiac, so that's pretty cool. Also, there's some information about Reiki. If you're not familiar, Reiki is a form of spiritual healing for your chakras, and talks about connecting with your spirit. I mean, there's just so much information in here. And my favorite part about this is like you can look up the crystal by name, and then there's just a list of different properties that correspond with that crystal. So I think this is an amazing resource for beginner witches, because there's definitely a lot of crystals out there, and it's sometimes hard to know which crystal is which and stuff like that. There's not as much of a description of the crystals in this book, so I would recommend maybe looking into the Crystal Bible or something like that for identifying crystals. But if you have them and you know what they are, this is a great resource to figure out what their properties are and what they're good to use for different spell work or whatever your intention may be, your purpose for that crystal. And then the next book, I actually got this from Five Below. So it was $5, and it is a beginner tarot book. And this book has spreads, which I think probably if you're kind of like getting into spirituality with like TikTok and stuff, because I know this was my impression, a lot of the readers will just kind of shuffle and read flyer cards. You don't really see a lot of spreads happening on there, but this book does actually go in. They give you the elements that are associated with the tarot symbols. They also talk about kind of like an overall description of what each symbol kind of represents in tarot. They also give you some insight on reversals. And here are the spreads. So there's a few different types. The Celtic cross is probably the most common. I know there's like a self-care one in here, relationship spread, a career spread, spiritual spread. There's just a whole bunch of different things in here. And then they like give you a little bit of a description so that you can create your own, which is really awesome. And then they go in and they break down each card for you. So they're going to give you the upright meanings, the reversal meanings, and then they break it down for you. So it tells you like the interpretation of the card, the reflection, so kind of questions that you can ask yourself to kind of figure out what exactly spirit is trying to get you to understand or what they're trying to bring to light for you, and then what actions you can take from the message that you receive from that card. So I just think that this book, especially for $5, like, this is a great find. So if you have a Five Below, definitely go look for this tarot. It's Tarot, Connect with Yourself, Develop Your Intuition, Live Mindfully by Tina Gong. So definitely check that out if tarot is the type of divination that you're interested in, or you just want to have the resource on hand. Okay. So this next book, don't be scared when you see it because it's huge, but it's like the encyclopedia for spirituality. It's literally like that book that if you just start here, you might not need to buy any other books. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, it's huge, right? This is pretty expensive, but I definitely believe it's worth the investment. So this is The Ultimate Book of Shadows for the New Generation Solitary Witch by Silver Raven Wolf. I've been told that this is like a series from this author, so there are other books that you could find. This is the only one that I own, but this literally is like the history of witchcraft. Different gods and goddesses from different pantheons. They talk about the elements. They talk about the Year of the Witch, and they break down all of the different holidays. They even give you rituals that you can put into your practice if you wish. To get started, they talk about the planets. They have a breakdown of all of the tarot cards in here as well. There are there's information about puppets. There's information about zodiac signs. I'm pretty sure there's information on meditation in here as well, I've come across before. They talk about how to create a circle for spell casting, how to cut a door, if you need to break the circle for any reason and then hop back in. There's color magic in here, a list of different tools that you may use in your practice and what they're used for, things like that. There are different types of plants and herbs and trees and their magical correspondence in here as well. There's information on glamour magic. Teaches you how to reverse your own spell work if something didn't go the way you planned. Also shows you how to reverse magic that somebody else has sent your way that you don't want. Pretty much. If out of all of these books that I suggest, if you got this one to start, you would be in good hands because you would have a literal encyclopedia that is breaking down all different parts of spirituality and witchcraft. So that's a great find. And then lastly, this is not necessarily like something that you absolutely have, but I will say that once you start diving deeper into your spiritual practice, you're going to realize how much dreams affect your connection with spirit, how dreams are a representation of different messages that spirit's trying to give to you. And this is the Deliberate Dreamer's Journal from Athena Laz. And I actually got this at Five Below as well, so $5. And the great thing about this, so it's not necessarily dream interpretation, but it is going to give you some information on meditation to help you sleep. And then it also goes in and it tells you about all the different types of dreams. So symbolic dreams, lucid dreams, warning dreams, announcing dreams, repetitive dreams, Siri dreams. Like, it literally breaks down what all those different types of dreams are so that you can understand them better. And then you can start to figure out what the messages are and kind of decode what it is that you need to know from your dreams. And then they also have these different pages for the journaling aspect. And so it goes in and it says, you know, what kind of a dream was it? And then you break down prominent symbols, places you were in your dream, people that were in your dream, different themes that you noticed in your dream, and then you can journal what you remember. So the best way to utilize this would be if you have like a bedside table or something like that, a nightstand, put it in there with a pen, and as soon as you wake up, jot down everything that you can remember. So I would typically go to like an open page and then jot down everything that I can remember, and then go back and then fill out like the specific questions that they have for you to kind of figure out what part of the dream, you know, stands out to you, what you remember, and then try to figure out, is this a repeating dream that I'm having? Was I lucid in this dream? Were there certain symbols? Did it feel like I was stressed out in my dream? Like, were they trying to warn me of something? Like, all of those things. And that's going to be really helpful for you, especially as you develop and elevate on your practice, because Spirit's always going to, you know, connect with you the best way that they can. So if the best way to get your attention is through dreams, or even if it's not the best way, but you know what I'm saying, they will show you, you know, what they're trying to convey to you. And the more that you keep track of all of those things, the better off you'll be, especially like when you go through an awakening, or maybe you're having a tower moment or something and you're just kind of trying to figure something out, or feel maybe a little disconnected. Like, they're going to show you the things that you need to know, and a lot of that's going to happen when you're dreaming. So I would definitely recommend going and trying to find this journal. I just started using it myself, so I don't have like a lot of stuff to really like show you in here, but I'm sure like in a later video I'll be able to go a little bit more in depth with you if you would like, and share kind of like how I go about that process as well. So those are my book recommendations for beginner witches, things that I've come across, because I've definitely, you know, gone and picked out books that I'm like, oh, beginners, this and that, and then I get the book and I'm like, I don't really like it, doesn't really resonate, it's not what I was looking for, and who has time to return things? No, I'm just kidding, but I figure I would just let you guys know the best that I have found to help you along on your journey. So I would appreciate it so much if you would subscribe so that you will be notified when I have new videos, and don't forget to click the notification bell so that you will get those notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like this video, I would truly appreciate it, and please leave comments down below of some beginner books that you found useful if they weren't part of this recommendation video. And anything else you might want to ask or video requests. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.